Welcome to the Vol Bros. My name is Evan. This is my brother who is not Jim Schlossnagel. That's probably a good thing right about now. Welcome to the Vol Bros. We are two Vol Bros who are actually bros in real life. And congratulations, Vol Nation. Live it up. Celebrate. Soak in this feeling of being national champions in a revenue sport. It's very, very exciting. Incredible week for my goodness, there's a lot happening this week in Vol Nation. And so we got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. We'd love to hear your thoughts on deciding game 3. Let's see, some of the folks already commenting. Elijah said it's great to be a Tennessee Vol. Absolutely it is. Zach said, so first thing, hey, welcome, Zach. He said, first thing I'm able to beer tonight. Unfortunately, I'm sick, but I won't let that stop me from celebrating. Hope you feel better soon, Zach. Zach said, I used to ask who wins Natty first. I don't have to ask that anymore. That's interesting you mentioned that. I've actually thought about that multiple times this week. I was trying to remember back to when we'd had those conversations, and I was trying to remember what my answer was, because I remember one time you asked, do you think it's softball, baseball, or basketball first? And I'm trying to remember what my answer was. Zach said, one non-baseball comment, Memphis got Edie in the draft. I don't know how I feel about that. So we'll talk about that later on in the show. Papa J, welcome, buddy. He said, let's go, champs. I actually woke up my kids that next morning, Tuesday morning, and said, good morning, champions. That's how I woke them up. Papa J said, this coming up year will be interesting to see what lineup we have. I mean, who knows? There'll probably be 5 or 6 different people in that starting lineup who may not even be on the team right now. Let's see. Papa J said, smash that like button. Tell your mom and them about the show. I like that. Your mom and them's good folks. They're good people. So tell them all about it. John, welcome, John. Good to have you, buddy. He said, what a ride this ball team gave us. So proud of the entire team. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Let's see. Yeah, sorry about that, John. I'll explain why it took us a minute extra there. Let's see. Mississippi Vol, welcome, buddy. He said, they brought it home, fellas. Absolutely. They got the rings. Absolutely. Zach said that parade was epic. I agree. I have that. The only negative thing I might say is actually about the parade tonight. And it's my only negative thing is about the day that they had it. I thought that they really missed an opportunity to do something even better. So we'll talk about that. Tony, welcome, buddy. He said, so happy, national champions. Go Vols. Absolutely. Well, our first topic tonight is going to be what happened on Monday, because obviously that is the biggest deal since 98. And so, Rustin, what did you think about that game Monday night?
God bless Xander Sechrist. If anyone, I mean, let's just go back a year and a half ago. If anyone a year and a half ago, when Xander was starting every midweek game, throwing 2 innings, then coming out, if anybody had said that dude would go 6-0 in his final 6 starts and lead Tennessee to a national championship, and let's not mince words, of every starting pitcher we had, he was by far the best for the last 2 months. He has been
ERA.
Yeah, 6-0, ERA under 1.5, deep appearances every time, and all of those have been pressure games. If anyone had said a year and a half ago Xander would be that guy, it's just unbelievable where he's come.
Well, and to your point, like we were saying, last time, what if AJ Russell hadn't gotten hurt? Xander might have just been the guy who threw the midweek games and came in relief maybe on Sundays sometimes. I mean, that would have been it. And so unbelievable what he's a legend now. He's a legend. Talk about seizing your opportunity. Well, he sure did.
Yep. I was just looking at his numbers from last year. It's almost comical when you read his bio. They're bragging about him striking out 3 and 1.2 or 1 point. They're bragging up. Let me start over. They're bragging about him striking out 3 batters in 1.1 innings against Belmont. That was literally a brag bullet from last season. Yeah. So he went from, man, he had 1 1/3 amazing innings against Belmont to 3 national championship, lights out. Just quite the move.
A little bit different. One thing that is good about the internet is that screenshots live forever. The other thing that's not good about the internet is screenshots live forever. And however, this is a good part. I would love to bring up the fact that last Sunday, so our last show, we were giving our predictions about Monday night. And I said we need to have a lead before Auschenbeck comes in, because he's going to enter the game in the 6th inning. And then I said you'll probably see multiple relievers after that. And I predicted a final score of 6-4. Multiple relievers for Tennessee, that is. Well, we got out to an early lead before Auschenbeck came in. Auschenbeck entered the game in the 6th inning. Then you saw multiple relievers from us after that. And I was 1 wild pitch away from a 6-4 final score. So I feel pretty good about myself after that. that was almost nailed it to the T there. I will say this about
that was probably the most impressive thing of that game was, he just won National Reliever of the Year, and we ripped him like he didn't exist.
Yep. I will say this. Tennessee is extremely fortunate to get out of that game with a victory after how many mental mistakes they made during the game. Typically, you do not have the luxury of making that many mental errors during a national championship game and walking away with a victory. Like Dean Curley, Cal Stark, both of them had base running errors. Dean Curley had the bobble at an easy double play ball. He bobbles it, only get 1. Thankfully, we got out of that with no runs scored. Aaron Combs trying to pick off to first after the dude hit a double. Like, what in the world? I'm just thankful he didn't throw the ball to first.
Well, there was nobody to throw it to.
Well, I know that's
his feet, no one was over there.
But typically you're already in your throwing motion when you pop your feet. And so I'm just thankful he held on to the ball and didn't try to throw it. That could have been real bad real quick, honestly.
But how priceless to catch him on camera grinning at Cal Stark saying, I didn't know he was gone.
Yeah. That was another thing. Like, the dude hit a double, you know what I'm saying? Like, and he was telling Cal Stark, I didn't know he went. I didn't know he was there. Like, I didn't know he went. And I'm like, he didn't win. He went when he hit it. That's what he But you're right. Rustin tweeted, this is when everyone knew we were going to win.
Yeah.
And that he was right. Clearly he was pretty relaxed in that moment.
Dude's cold-blooded. When you can make that kind of mistake in that moment and literally just break into hysterics on the mound with your catcher, those next 2 guys had no chance.
Yep. One interesting thing that's surfaced since then is the Kavaris Tears home run / not home run.
Yeah.
That has been fascinating, because when I saw it live, I thought it hit off the top of the wall. But when I saw that slow motion replay that was going around the internet today, I think that was a home run, actually, that got taken away from him there a little bit. But my goodness, just what a tremendous game from Xander Sechrist. You just love it for him, because just like Rustin said, this dude was one injury away from another guy's injury away from just being Xander pitched for us one time, but instead it's like, Xander Sechrist, absolutely. And people are asking for his autograph and stuff like that. So
just signing babies.
Yeah. Signing babies. Exactly. So, it was just super exciting for him. Now, as we discussed the national championship, I spent over an hour earlier today uploading 4 different designs on our merch shop, 3 of which were national championship stuff. I was going to share those with you tonight. However, when I went to go share them on my screen, all 3 national championship designs either failed to upload or Teespring removed them. I don't know. One of them, which was the only one that wasn't a national championship design, it uploaded. I'll show you it. But here's what the national championship stuff was going to look. Well, you can't see it because we're on there, but it has well, let's see if I can figure out a way to show it to you. You can still see it. What if we do? Nope, it's not going to work. If we do this, you'll be able to see it over the top of us. So one of them, this was my wife's idea. She inspired this in my national champion era. And then on the back of the shirt, it has, you can't really see it over the top of us, but because it's a PNG file, but it had all the successes this team had, all the accomplishments they had. The other one was the national champions are clad in big orange 2024. And then I also just made this some big orange champions. So we had three of them that didn't get uploaded. The only one that did get uploaded, and this was my wife's idea too, because she knows how crazy Vol Nation is for Tony Vitello. Well, she had a good idea. And so the only one that actually made it, and this one doesn't have any national championship stuff on the back, was oh, come on. Dude, it's not even going to let me show. There we go. Now we're cooking. All right, so y'all going to get to see it now. This right here, in my Tony era. Pretty good, man. Pretty good. And for the first time ever, we've got jewelry on our shop now. You can get a little pendant necklace. For the first time ever, the Bella Canvas 3001 shirt is on our merch shop. And probably what people will be most excited about, for the first time ever, you can get a sticker of it too. But for the first time ever, the Comfort Color shirt, which I was actually pretty pumped about that. That's available now. So you can get the In My Tony era Comfort Color shirt. Pretty exciting, in 3 different colors there. So we got that one. The other 3, I'm going to try to re-upload again after we get off the air tonight. And maybe, I don't know. I think I know one thing that might have happened, but I'm going to try the other 3 again. And so if so, then I will pump those out on social media tomorrow. But I will put a link to this shirt. We'll do the women's racerback tank top link here. So that right there comes in 3 different colors. I'll put a link to this. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, you'll be able to see it in the comments. And then I will also go over to Twitter and post that there as well. So let's see here. All right. So here's our live stream on Twitter. So if you're watching with us there, 37 of you, welcome. Good to have you. So I'm going to post this in the link to that in the comments. There you go. It's there for you now as well. Appreciate that very much. So we got 39 people on Twitter, 25 on YouTube, and 2 on Facebook watching with us right now. Total of 66 folks. So just be keeping your eyes open for those national champion ones. I love the back of it because it has all the different accomplishments of it. That was Rustin's favorite part of it too. So that the one that loaded was the only one that didn't have a design on the back of the shirt. So back to the comments. Jared said, "Go Vols." Absolutely, Jared. Good to have you with us, man. Sean said, "I was too young to remember 98. I'm just so glad I can finally say it feels like 24. Absolutely, buddy. I love that. Absolutely. Zach said, "I felt bad for the guy who wears the Smokey costume Monday night." No doubt, man. No doubt that dude
that had to be miserable.
Oh, man, I bet they lost probably 10 pounds of just pure water weight. Let's see. Zach said, "By the way, the rumors of Tony Vitello to Texas are false." That is accurate.
and actually have been for quite some time.
Yeah. That's exactly right. Tony said, got to get this out of my system. If Greg McElroy ever shows up in Tennessee, especially Knoxville, he should be run out of this state. Yeah, Greg did issue an apology the next day. I think he realized the error of his way there. Herb said, one of many national championships to come. Amen, brother. He said, Tony said the best is yet to come. Absolutely. He and Danny White both said, the best is yet to come. I totally agree. Zach said, Herb, I love what he said. If you're not a Tennessee fan through and through, you don't belong here. That's paraphrasing, but yeah, it's close to what he said. Jared said, Greg McElroy has to know it's coming when he's in Knoxville. I think he already realized he messed up. No doubt. He issued an apology, and he knew he messed up.
I really wish he knew he messed up. He tried to double down. Cole actually tried to change the direction of the conversation and stop him. And Greg just kept going, and that's why he apologized. I think once they got off the air, Cole actually probably told him he went too far. I was actually messaging with Cole yesterday and somewhat apologizing for our fan base, because a lot of our fans went after Cole as well, and Cole did absolutely nothing wrong. And some people got really inappropriate in how they went after him. So I hope people can realize that, those two men, for the most part, do a really good job, but they are human beings. They make mistakes. Cole literally did nothing wrong and should not be getting some of the hatred he's been getting. And Greg, I think, figured out real quickly he screwed up and apologized pretty fast.
Let's see. Zach said Alshenbeck did not look the same as he did the first game Monday night. Well, I think we saw him. I mean, we saw him more than any other team did all year, and we only played him 2 games. I mean, we saw him his 2 longest outings of the season, and so that may be a reason why we had more success against him than literally anybody else, because we saw him more. Mr. Jones said, I called Christian Moore's home run first at bat and Dylan drawing MVP. I tell you what, if Dylan didn't get MVP, something would have been bad wrong.
Christian destroyed that first at bat. That ball was obliterated.
Yeah, he did. Papa J was talking about when I was talking about, the mental errors that they had. Absolutely. Mr. Jones said, go Vols. Hunter Houdini. Absolutely. I still don't know how he did that. That was amazing. I mean, that was amazing.
A baseball coaching friend of mine who has won 2 state championships in 2 different states, kind of a legendary coach, actually screenshotted the picture of Hunter going around that catcher. And he said, as amazing as it is that Hunter Inslee was able to score on this, catching coaches around the world are going to use this as a teach tape for the next 10 years on how not to defend this as a catcher. The catcher did literally everything wrong. And luckily Hunter, it's funny, Hunter was saying Dean Curley kept telling him get down to the outside. And if he had done that, he would have been out by 5 feet. And he even jokingly in the post-game press conference said, Dean was telling me to get down outside, and boy, was he wrong. And so, I think the catcher assumed he was going to slide to the outside. And when he caught it, was already leaning that direction, rather than catching the ball first, finding the runner and making sure he got a sure tag. And as amazing as that was on Hunter's side, it was equally as bad on the catcher's side.
And vitally important to the outcome of the game.
Yeah.
That was huge. Absolutely huge. Zach said, or let's see, Herb said, Aaron Combs laughing it off was the best thing ever. Yep, that was that was something. To be that relaxed in that moment is pretty incredible. HT14 said, when Simo hit the leadoff homer, I was in Texas Roadhouse about to scream my lungs out in excitement. Let's see. Mr. Jones said, Vol Dynasty. Absolutely. I mean, hey, the 3 of the last, only team in America, the only team to go to the College World Series 3 of the last 4 years. Literally the only team. Let's see. Sean said, you need a suit like Knecht's from last night with the achievements on the inside. I love that. Yeah, man. I love it. That's what I'm talking about. Alshenbeck, HC14 said, Alshenbeck did not seem as good as I heard. Well, that's because, like I said, I think it's because we saw him more than any other team. We saw him more in just 2 games because he had his 2 longest outings of the year against us. HD14 said if the parade was a different game, or I think he meant different day, I would have went. Yeah, I'm going to actually talk about that here in a little bit. Mr. Jones said you need a mustache shirt on our website. Now that's a good idea. Wonder surely Raleigh or Volley Fingers doesn't have a copyright on a mustache graphic. I think we can probably do that. Hey, Monica, good to have you. Welcome. Good to have you. Zach said he's going to get a shirt on payday. Herb said, what is your page on Facebook? Great question. We are at the Vol Bros on everything. So you can find us there. I'll just leave that going for a while. Let's see. Mr. Jones said Tony Vitello. He's actually our next topic. Big Orange, welcome, buddy. He said, what's up, Vol Bros? We did it, Vol Nation. Absolutely. Jeff said, I bet it won't be 25 years before the next Vol Championship. Absolutely. Totally agree, man. Totally agree. Rustin, why don't you mention what Drew Beam said at the parade?
I'm blanking. Which part?
Well, you're the one that was telling me about what he said because I missed it. I saw almost the whole parade, but then I turned it off while Drew Beam was up there, and I was meant to go back and watch it later. But he mentioned that the football team's going to win one this fall.
Oh, yeah. He called his shot with football, which was just it caught everybody off guard a little bit. He just randomly worked into the conversation that he fully expects football to win a national championship this fall. And it was like, well, okay.
And that's what's so cool. You know, we'll talk about Dalton mentioning the baseball team too, but the whole athletic department, even the players on the different teams are supporting each other. And that's really cool. Let's see. Zach said, Cole is good in my book. He's not from Alabama. Zach said, Greg seems like still like the taste of foot in mouth. Absolutely. A little bit there. Mr. Osborne said it was great to see the Vols win the national title, but got to say, I thought I was going to lose what little ear hair I have left at the end. Yeah, buddy. Oh, man. I was so nervous. The last 2 innings, I didn't sit down the whole time. Like I was standing in the living room. Then I walked over and stood in my kitchen. Then I walked around and stood in the entryway and kind of peeked around from behind the entry, like the column in the entryway. Like I couldn't sit down. HD14 said, my dad called the leadoff homer. That's what I'm talking about. Big Orange said, we bashed everyone's brains in all year. Never seen a batting lineup like this. I agree. I think it's the best lineup in hitting wise in the history of the game. And I think there's numbers to back that up.
Yeah.
Tennessee Junior, he said, I tried, but that debate was unwatchable. And then I remembered that the Vol Bros are on. I love it. I appreciate that.
I told my wife a little bit ago, I said, I don't know why we decided to go live in the middle of the first presidential debate. Like that was awful planning. But there's also good odds that after about 15 minutes, everybody's going to turn it off. Yeah. So,
well, I mean, we got 177 folks with us right now. 146 on Twitter, 30 on YouTube, and 1 on Facebook. So, 178 just went up. There you go. So welcome everybody who's with us right now. Let's see. Sam said, did you guys take note of what some of the A&M players said about their coach? Yes, we are actually going to talk about that here in just a little bit. Let's see. Zach said, I know Jeff Kent will be wearing different colors. Oh, man. Yep, absolutely. Sam said Hunter Inslee showed that catcher his Euro step. Absolutely. Absolutely. Big Orange said, every time our boys took the plate, we had Jason Mass on slaughtering baseballs left and right all year long. It was certainly must-see TV. Every time Tennessee came to bat, all of the country, I mean, you almost have to stop what you're doing and watch because I mean, you never know what incredible display of hitting you're about to see. Sam said the new great idea, Sam. He said the new stadium improvements need to include things to commemorate this team.
I can almost guarantee
Yeah.
you that will be the case. Danny White
Yep.
is a branding genius.
For sure. Yeah, you're exactly right, Sam. And I agree with Rustin. I'm sure that they already got a part of a wall already ready to go. Like they got plans, I'm sure. Mr. Jones said football, then basketball, win natties, rinse and repeat. Hey, that's especially basketball. That's legit chance.
The things I'm hearing about that team that, they're already there working out, and the stuff that I'm hearing about those dudes, this team is going to be better than last year's team.
I mean, it sounds like it for sure. Zach said he's not lying about football. They'll be hard to beat. About Drew Beam, what Drew Beam said. And Dester, welcome, Dester. He said Valbro's great time. And I think he was talking about when we were talking about the debate and we're on the middle of it. 187 people watching with us right now, 156 on Twitter. Let's see. We got 29. We just lost one. We had 30 on YouTube, one left. So we got 29 on YouTube and one on Facebook. Jared, welcome, buddy. He said, do you think Danny White's waiting on Texas to announce their new coach salary to make Tony the highest paid coach? Ooh, that'd be a good question.
No. I can actually answer that. Tony signed an extension before the College World Series ever even started. Brian Rice accidentally said that on the air and let the cat out of the bag. And so literally before they ever even left for Omaha, Tony had already signed an extension. He did not want to announce it until they got back from Omaha, but because they were there for so long, and this is another reason why the parade happened when it did, Tony's on the road recruiting right now, and Danny White's waiting on him to get back to announce his extension so they can do it in a public way. He's already done.
Zach said there's a presidential debate tonight. Who knew? HD14 said without Dalton Knecht, our team wouldn't have been as good this year in basketball. So we'll talk about basketball here in a minute. Let's see. Big Orange said, can we defend our baseball natty next year? I mean, who knows? I don't think we know a third of the people who will be on the team yet,
No.
I think with Tony Vitello recruiting him, I'd say we're going to be pretty good.
Ask that question in a month and we'll be able to answer it.
Well, at least we'll have a way better idea then of who's transferring in. But I mean, as of right now, we could talk about who's not going to be there. But we probably don't even know all of them either. So that's a great question. It'll be fun to talk about it here in a few weeks. The 197 folks watching with us, 163 on Twitter, 32 on YouTube, and 2 on Facebook. We appreciate you. Sean said, we can discuss this a different night, but doesn't it seem like Rick Barnes has grabbed another gear in recruiting, especially transfers? I totally agree.
That man has been resurrected. He has found a new gear that most thought was gone, and he was just coasting to retirement, and he has lost 20 years. Like he is a renewed person. Yeah,
I agree. That's a great description of it. Absolutely. John said, I hope they pay the staff to keep them intact on the baseball team. I hope so too, man. It's an incredible staff. Yeah. Let's see.
The only one that would be Frank Anderson's not going anywhere. He and Rick Barnes are close friends. He loves Knoxville. This is the end of the road for him. He won't coach anywhere ever again. Josh Elander obviously will be in high demand. But the jobs that Josh Elander would have been most possible for this year have already been filled. So, he's not going to just jump for anything. It's going to have to be a high Power 5 job for him to leave.
Let's see. Big Orange said, yeah, it's probably a little too early to talk about who will be on the team next year. And I agree. It is. Let's see. Dester, welcome, Dester. Dester said 5-1, almost called it correct. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Dester. If you're talking about the score of the game Monday night, is a little bit off. 6-5 final score. I was one wild pitch away from having the exact right score. Let's see. Zach said we won 60 games this year. I say we win 65 next year. Okay.
Zach, we were 60-13. So by your math, we'd have to be 65-8 in the SEC. I don't see that happening.
And back-to-back national champs, because you're not going to win 65 games if you're not in the championship series.
No.
I mean, that'd be incredible, but I'll be totally honest. I don't think there will ever be another 60-win team ever. I mean, like ever in anywhere. I think we just witnessed the last 60-win team in major college baseball. I mean, that's just it's unbelievable what they did. It's incredible, absolutely incredible. 203 folks watching now. People are leaving the debate. 204. Welcome. It's 168 on X, 36 on YouTube. We lost our Facebook folks, but we're glad y'all are with us. Big Orange said, "We'll definitely be good next year, though." Oh, totally agree.
How can you assume anything otherwise? I mean, Tony, in the last 5 years, he's averaging, well, other than the COVID year, he's averaging 50 wins a season. I mean, who does that?
Exactly. It's phenomenal. HC14 said the Texas A&M downfall is insane. Oh, man, they're going to be terrible next year. They're going to go from second best team in the country to maybe worst team in the conference next year.
Where it's really hurting them is, well, we'll talk about the parade in just a second, but where this is really going to hurt them is the portal. Like they're running out of time. They're not going to be able to backfill these spots.
Right. Welcome. Hey, only 10 UC. Good to see you. She said, "Hey, my favorite bros, who should we be excited about seeing take on a bigger role next year?" That's a great question for Vol baseball. What do you think, Rustin?
RL Antigua.
Oh, I think that's a great answer.
Everybody's going to be blown away by that kid. He is the real deal. He is a future first rounder.
I think that's a great answer. I think Hunter Inslee could be an answer to that question. You might see him back at the leadoff spot next year. That's a great question. Cannon Peebles, I think, would probably be another good answer to that question.
Yeah.
Let's see. Tennessee Junior said Barnes is loving the portal, and this era seems like full on resurrection. Love it. Yeah, that's a great analysis. Tennessee Junior said we ain't winning 65 games next year, but only Tennessee said, "Yep, we're doing it." I love it. That's awesome. Mississippi Vol, welcome, buddy. He said the brothers Pierce have quickly become my favorite YouTube show covering Vols. Keep up the great work. Hey, we appreciate that, man, so much. Thank you. Really, really appreciate that. That's awesome. That's really cool. 214 people watching now. So
that 30-minute mark of the debate must have been a bad one. Like people start dropping like flies.
We're glad y'all are with us. Senility will reign supreme on this channel. At least I hope. I can't say the same about the debate.
I did not turn down a drug test before this.
But now we might be on some kind of hit list or something. Now that we said that. But yeah, we're glad everybody's with us. We have fun talking about the Vols for sure. The only 10 UC made a good point. Now, this is a really good point. She said no one believed we would get 60. That's a fair point.
Yeah, it is. But the problem is college baseball has become such an arms race, and the constant changing of players is just there's no way to predict what's going to happen. You don't know how teams, one of the biggest things is going to be who's the best at getting teams to gel quickly, because
good point.
You just don't have relationships. I mean, every year it's going to be wholesale turnover.
And Tony's good at that.
And that could be the differentiator. I mean, he showed it this year, but but it's going to be just really, really hard. And everybody's finding new ways to pay players, and it's going to be real hard to consistently win year in and year out.
I love Mr. Jones's comment. He's like, "Hey man, 73-0." Mm-hmm. I love it. Hey, sign me up. I mean, man, that would be incredible. Yeah, Tennessee Junior said I'm all for it. Yeah, me too.
I'm going to do him one better. I'm going to say 72-1 with a midweek loss to Tennessee Tech.
In a wooden bat game.
Yep.
Let's see. Zach said it's June 27th. I'm saying 65. I love it. That's great. Oh, Dester, he clarified for me. He said 5-0 for Omaha is what I called for the Vols when they went in there. Hey, that you almost nailed it, buddy. You're exactly right.
Yep.
The fact that they went 5-1 is incredible. I mean, that is incredible.
Yep.
Against the best teams, literally the best teams in the country, and they went 5-1. Big Orange said it's so great to be a Tennessee Vol fan right now. Amen, brother. After living through what we've been through the last 10 years, man, this is what is this feeling, right? It's incredible. The only 10 you see said if we snatch up one of the A&M boys, boy, oh boy, absolutely. And we might. I think there's I would be shocked. I don't think every single one of them is going to go to Texas with Schlossnagle, because it would not be a good look for them either. And I think at least one of them would be like, I'm going to go somewhere else.
If they come with a mandatory yell leader, they can keep them.
Yeah, absolutely. Tennessee Junior, actually, he said the same thing you did. He said Ariel Antigua. And he said, well, you said it before I could type it. Zach said, as long as it's not Kent, I will get tired of seeing Jeff. Actually, I agree with that a little bit.
I would almost bet my house that you'll see Caden Kent in a Texas uniform next year.
Yep. Zach said Curly will be great again next year. I agree. The only 10 you see said Antigua was my thought as well. In the freshman pitcher, Loy was it? Yep, Dylan Loy. I actually thought about him too. So last couple shows, I said I would not be surprised if we see Dylan Loy earn a starting spot in the weekend rotation next year. That would not surprise me. Let's see. Tennessee Junior's making a debate reference there. Sam said, what do you guys think about Tony emphasizing you're either all Vol or not? I thought that was a weird spot. Honestly, I thought that was a weird spot for him to talk about that. There had to have been something that got him thinking about it that we just don't know about. Something must have happened.
Yeah, that was intended for somebody somewhere, because
yeah, I agree.
The man never says anything without it being intended for somebody.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, there was definitely a backstory to that, and I don't know what it is, but it was definitely odd in that moment. Tennessee Junior said Loy and Peebles will be big. Let's see. Jerry, welcome. Jerry said the amount of games doesn't matter, just the last one does, about how many games we win next year. I mean, I agree. Absolutely. You got to win enough to get there, but then the only one that matters are the ones at the end. Absolutely. Only Tennessee said 6 different FCC teams winning in 7 years is definitely hard, but great for parity. I'm so glad you said that. Only Tennessee. That's a fantastic point. And, that was one thing we were talking about. I can't remember who I was talking with the other day. The last 5 national champions are all SEC teams. It would be one thing if it was like maybe 1 or 2 teams that had won all 5. You're like, well, I mean, it's that team or it's whoever, like in football, it's Alabama or it's Georgia or something like that. But the fact that the last 5 national champions are 5 different teams from the SEC, that's incredible. I mean, that is incredible. Legit. Has that ever happened from another conference ever? 5 different teams win it in 5 consecutive years. That's wild. I mean, that's wild. Let's see. Mr. Jones said Omaha Vols, absolutely. Let's see. HC14 said we need the Grahovic guy. I agree. He's good. He's probably going to Texas, but I'd love to have him.
He is 100% a Longhorn.
John made a good point. He said Caden Kent's from Austin. So, yeah, he's gone. He's going to Texas. Herb said, I'd take Cortez, Grahovac, and Lavalliette. Yeah, I mean, I'd take Cortez, no doubt.
He's staying at A&M. He's already made that statement. He's not entering the portal.
Only 10 UC said, what do you guys know about this Wichita State pitcher we're looking at in the portal? Should we save that for another day? Do you
Tommy
know about, I'm not.
Yeah.
Go
Tommy
ahead.
Lepore, he's one of their top arms. Good friends with Nate Snead. I would almost guarantee he's coming to Knoxville. Could even possibly be one of our 3 starters next year. I would also expect to see potentially Nate Snead move into a starting role next year. It's possible that our top 3 could be AJ Russell, Nate Snead, and Tommy Lepore.
Only 10 UC said, Russ is always bringing me down with his logic and reasonable answers. I love it. That's great.
I would love
that.
For Lavalette to actually be considering somewhere else. But when we get to we're going to talk about Schloss. When we get to Schloss, I'll destroy your dreams for you.
Mr. Jones said maybe he was directing at Chase Burns.
I almost wondered, some of the guys who entered the portal didn't get to make the travel squad and weren't with them in Omaha, and I almost wonder if it was targeted at them.
That's actually a really good theory right there. I bet it was. Mississippi Vol said almost 7 years because Arkansas was a caught foul ball away from winning it all against Oregon State in 2018. That's a great point. Well played, sir. Let's see. Big Orange said the Vols can win a natty in basketball this season. Agreed. Totally agreed. However,
this has potential to be the most talented roster Rick Barnes has ever coached anywhere. That includes Texas.
Let's see here. Our next topic. So, Tony Vitello named National Coach of the Year. Rustin, what are your thoughts on that award? Do you foresee more of those in the future? What do you think?
Yeah, that was D1 baseball. They're the most reliable. The media will do dumb things. They don't know what they're talking about, but the reliable
baseball also made Christian Moore a first-team All-American.
Yeah,
only one to do it.
Right, because that's the only group that actually knows what they're talking about. So anytime you're looking at polls, anytime you're looking at awards, D1 baseball is the only ones you should be listening to. The rest of them just don't follow it that closely. I'm sure he'll win some more awards. There'll be different groups. He'll win the Tennessee Sports Writers Association Coach of the Year. And there'll be some people that'll give him National Coach of the Year just because they won the national championship. In coaching circles, the biggest thing he gets for winning the national championship, aside from a $140,000 bonus check, in college baseball and high school baseball coaching circles, the pinnacle is the American Baseball Coaches Association. And it's probably the strongest coaches association in the country in any sport. And this year, the convention is in Washington, D.C., and whoever wins the national championship is immediately the keynote speaker of the convention. So, and it's a huge honor. Like, they make a big deal out of it in college coaching circles. Like, you have arrived when you get to be the keynote speaker at the ABCA convention. So I'm actually going to go because I want to hear Tony speak this year. So I was really excited when they won the championship because I'll now get to hear Tony speak at the ABCA. But that'll probably be, for him as a coach, that will be the biggest award he will get.
Some of the other comments came through. The only thing you see said, this has the potential to be the most exciting year of all sports. We better enjoy it every moment. Absolutely. 100% agree. Mr. Jones said, Nico, I'm a believer. Let's see. Zach said, we'll have 3 natties in a year and a few months, baseball, football, and basketball. That would be incredible. That would be amazing for one school to pull the hat trick off like that.
If that happens, Danny White becomes the highest paid athletic director in America.
Yeah, and maybe governor of Tennessee after he gets done. Let's see. HC14 said, I hate when people tell me Tennessee's a this or that sports school. We're an all around school. Absolutely. We're an everything school. No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Danny White made a comment at the parade, and I can't remember the exact number he said. I feel like he said out of 20 varsity sports, we had 12 this year finish in the national top 10. It was something like that. It was either 12 or 13,
11.
which is just unbelievable.
There was 11 schools that finished in the top 10. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Mr. Jones said Kirby wins mustache of the year. That's his award. I agree. Zach said, who knows what Coach Caldwell will do for the women's side? It's a great point. I mean, it's totally unknown.
You want to talk about the portal queen? Kim Caldwell has killed it in the transfer portal. That team's going to look very, very different.
The only thing you see said, well, if Greg McElroy has anything to say about it, Vitello won't win another award. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Last baseball topic for the night, other than A&M. We're going to talk about them at the end, but the parade. So here are my thoughts on the parade. First of all, it's super cool that they did it. I love the fact that they did it. My only beef with it is I wish they had done it on a different day. And here's why I say that. All of Vol Nation had maybe 6 hours to plan to get to downtown Knoxville to see that. That was it. You can't do that. You have to give people at least 2 to 3 days notice so that they can get off work, they can arrange everything and be there. I mean, they could have had, no joke, tens of thousands of more people show up for that thing if they had just waited 2 or 3 days. Totally would have happened. I mean, think about a Saturday in the fall.
Oh, if they had done a Saturday, it would have been standing room only, but the calendar would not allow that.
Well, here's another reason why they should have done it. The economy in Knoxville, that's the major loser in how they did it. Think about every hotel, every restaurant, alumni hall, the Vol shop, how much they would have made bank if they had given people time to get there. They would have raked in the dough, especially alumni hall and the Vol shop. They would have just raked in the dough. But instead, they got gypped out of it because they did it so quickly. It's the businesses in Knoxville that I'm sure are the most upset about it.
The only 10 you see just gave the exact right answer.
She said, I hear you, but that portal is important to me. Do it next month. I understand that. But here's the thing. You know what? Let's say they wait until Saturday.
Can't.
Listen, he doesn't have to sit there and sit on his butt for 5 days. He can be out recruiting.
No players would be there Saturday. That's what I'm saying. They couldn't wait. The Cape Cod League and the Wood Bat Leagues, all the college Wood Bat Leagues started June 15th. June 15th. Okay. That parade was on June 25th. So the earliest that any of our returning players got to their Wood Bat Leagues was 11 days late. And that's if they went the very next day. Tony was very vocal about how they won the transfer portal was the Wood Bat Leagues. It was their players actively recruiting their teammates in the Wood Bat Leagues. It's how they got Cannon Peebles. It's how they got Nate Snead. It's how they got Robin Villeneuve. Like, a lot of these guys came through the Wood Bat Leagues. And every day that those dudes weren't on planes going to their teams, we were losing. Because you better believe everybody else was actively recruiting their teammates to jump in the portal. So, Tony's actually not. Tony's in Atlanta right now. The top the WWBA 17U is this week at East Cobb in Atlanta. It's the top high school tournament in America. Tony's there all week. If y'all want to see him, you can go. He's at the East Cobb complex right now. I guarantee it. I saw him getting on a plane yesterday. He's going to Atlanta. And that's where he'll be all week. But his players are all actively recruiting the portal. if any of y'all noticed yesterday on Twitter, the last 48 hours on Twitter, there was an abnormal amount of former players tweeting
Yeah, that was by design.
about player development, about the portal, about the getting ready for the majors, and tagging Josh Elander, tagging Tony Vitello, tagging Frank Anderson. That was Tony Vitello shooting out a help message to everybody saying, hey, we're 11 days behind. We need you to help pick up the steam for us. So when our guys get to their wood bat leagues, they've already been seeing, the players there have already been seeing current pros talking about why it's so important to transfer to Tennessee. So I guarantee you, Danny White was probably like, hey, let's do the parade on Saturday. And Tony Vitello looked at him and went, no way. Like, we're doing that thing as soon as we get off the plane, because then I'm getting on a plane and every one of these guys are getting on planes, and we're going to make sure we have a good roster next year.
Yeah, I understand that. One other, negative about it being as fast as they did was there were people who made the trip to Omaha who weren't even back yet. So some of the people that were dedicated and spend the money to go to Omaha, they didn't even get to come back and see the parade. So I guess there wasn't a perfect scenario, but I wish it could have been a little different.
I would bet if you asked those same people, hey, if we could be a 35-win team next year and have a parade on Saturday, or we can be a 55-win team next year and have a parade tomorrow, I feel pretty confident most of them would say, yeah, do the parade as soon as we get back. Do not wait.
John said the Vol Shop sold around 10,000 natty items yesterday. Yep. It could have been 50 or 60. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure they did. Let's see. HD14 said, did y'all, well, we'll come back to that. I'm going to star that one. Timothy said the national championship speaks more than a wood bat league. I get that. Let's see.
It really doesn't. What speaks
Only
more
is
what speaks more is NIL money.
How the little thing came back up on you.
Yeah. NIL money, how you're going to develop me, and where do you see me fitting into your program? And that's what they care about. They don't care that you won a national championship this past year. High school kids care about that. College kids don't. They're past that point. They're thinking about their future. They're not thinking about what's really cool and shiny.
Zach said, does Tony wear his ring on trips? I'm sure he will. Sure he will. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Elijah, good to have you, buddy. He said, what's up, bros? Good to have you, man. Herb said Tony is in the Cape Cod League right now.
So
well said.
On when radio, was that? When did he say that on the radio? Because I saw pictures of him yesterday at East Cobb that friends sent me.
Let's see. Tennessee Junior said, I live in the Tri-Cities and would have went. Was there 2 times this week, just couldn't make it that same day. Only Tennessee said they care about how many people you put in the league and how high they're going to be drafted. Yep, that's true. So Herb said, so does Kirby and Cal Stark end up on the staff? Kirby will for sure.
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
Vitello's already said he's told Kirby he can be on the staff.
He told Camden Sewell. He told Camden Sewell the same thing last year, and Camden didn't take it.
Camden's baseball coach at Cleveland High School, where he graduated from.
But he had that opportunity, that exact spot that Kirby was offered. Camden was offered it last year. Some of these guys, they've been in it so deeply for so long, and it's been their life. They don't necessarily want to hang around. They want a little break. They want to get away and do something different. That's why Camden turned it down. He wanted to do something different and get away for a little while. Camden had opportunities to be an undrafted free agent and go play minor league baseball. He turned that down too. There's some of these guys. I could see potentially Cal Stark staying around as a grad assistant. Kirby may surprise you. He may decide he needs a break.
Herb said it was on the Tony Basilio show today. It was a live interview on that show.
So that means there is an absolute dude in the Cape that they want really badly, because he was in East Cobb yesterday, which means he hopped on a plane last night, flew to the Cape to recruit somebody, and then he's going to fly back to East Cobb because the championship games will be Saturday and Sunday, and that's when the best of the best in the entire country play. The WWBA 17U is the top 450 17 and under teams in the entire country, and they're all in Atlanta at East Cobb. So most of his recruiting class is in Atlanta right now.
HT14 said, did y'all see the thing about the Braves wanting to host? So they invited the Tennessee baseball team to come to their stadium, and they suggested August 7th, because apparently August 7th at the Braves game is Tennessee Day. I don't know what that means, but that's Tennessee Day.
The Braves started a deal a few years ago where they have every single SEC school represented. Each one gets a day, and they give away a Braves hat with the school logo on the side. So every person that attends on August, whatever day you said, I'll get a Braves hat with a Tennessee logo on it.
That's cool. Monica said, can someone please explain to me the text to buddy thing? Yeah, sure. So the day that Danny White was hired as athletic director, at his introductory press conference, he was talking about how we needed to, as a whole group, all nation, we needed to change the vibes around the program and try to be positive and not spew, distaste and disdain and anger and stuff on Twitter. And he's like, if you want to say something negative, just text a buddy. He's like, don't put it on the internet, just text a buddy. Well, as you can imagine, people were like, don't be telling me what to do, like texting a buddy. If I want to say something, I'll say it, and that kind of thing. So it didn't really get off to a great start for Danny, but he's since proven that he's really, really good at what he does. And I think people are cool with it now. So another thing that happened this week, Dalton Knecht got drafted by the Lakers last night.
Who?
17th overall. That's kind of a big deal for Tennessee athletics. Rick Barnes was in attendance. What'd you think about that? What do you think about the fit at the Lakers for Dalton? We got 250 people watching right now. That's exciting.
I mean, the Lakers got an absolute steal in a guy that, my goodness, when you got Anthony Davis inside, you got Austin Reeves at the point, just slashing and creating havoc. You got LeBron attacking from one wing, and you're Dalton Knecht. You get to just stand on a wing and shoot all you want because the defense is constantly going to collapse. I don't know that he could ask for a better deal. And then on top of that, for the new head coach to be JJ Redick, that couldn't be more ideal. JJ Redick basically just drafted himself.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
And, Rick Barnes actually admitted during the season this past year that he contacted some Duke people and took some things that they ran for JJ Redick at Duke and implemented it in their offense this year at Tennessee for Dalton. So,
you saw that on inbounds plays under the basket. Yeah.
So he's literally going to play for the guy who Tennessee created plays from. It's the fit couldn't be better. And, I think Rob Pelinka made the comment today, if somehow they had gotten up to number 10 and he had been available, they would have taken him there and felt like he was a steal. So to get him at 17 was just unreal.
Yep, I agree. We got 252 folks watching right now, 212 on X, 40 on YouTube. We appreciate y'all very much. So I love what Jerry said here. He said, I love the fit and he'll always be on TV. I think it's a great point. As people on the eastern side of the country, we'll get to watch him. And so we'll
very
get to
late
see
at
him
night.
on TV. Yeah. Yeah. But it's pretty cool when you see Irvin Magic Johnson tweeting out today that they got such a great pick at the 17th spot, in the draft. And they said Dalton has a chance to start or come off the bench and play a ton of minutes. That's pretty impressive. Pretty good. Let's see. Elijah said Lakers got the steal of the draft and it's not close. Herb said was hoping the Spurs would have drafted him.
That was bizarre. Like, he's the perfect fit for them. They're, that coaching staff are close with Rick Barnes. Like, that would have been the perfect draft pick for them. And when they went for that other guy, I was like, what are they doing? That was a bizarre, that pick was weird.
Zach said it's going to be hard for me to watch the Lakers and hope that they win. Let's see. Elijah said, I really don't think him being 23 should have dropped him as much as it did. He is certainly the most plug and play player in that. I mean, you can make a case on the top 20 picks. But I mean, I think Elijah does make a good point here. Well, I think the guy that was picked before him or two guys before him, something like that, was 18 years old. And, here's Dalton, he's 23. So, I mean, there's 5 years essentially that you lose. And I get that. I understand it. But he's an immediate impact guy.
And they're gambling when they take these 18 and 19-year-olds and stash them in the G League. They're gambling that they will ever produce. And that's the thing that blows my mind. Like, you would think by now the NBA would have learned its lesson. NBA executives do this in the draft every single year. They try to find the guy that nobody else saw to, bring in and stash them in the G League and develop them and eventually be a great player. And it's like, you've got a proven commodity sitting right there in front of you. Why are you gambling? Like, take the proven commodity. It drives me nuts. It's one of the reasons I hate the NBA. Like, I can't even watch it anymore. It's so bad. But I'm glad for Dalton. I think it's a fantastic fit for him. Probably won't watch him because I don't watch the NBA, but it's a great fit for him.
The only 10 you see said, love Knecht, but I just can't support that other California team. The Warrior in me won't allow it. Zach said, well, I'm a Grizzlies fan, and I have to root for Zach Edey. Not a swift move by the Grizzlies to take anybody, but particularly Zach Edey, instead of Dalton Knecht, if you want to endear yourself to your home state's fan base. What did you think about that?
It was ignorant. I mean, I was sitting there watching it going, what do they think he's going to do? Like, he can't run up and down the floor, and you have a point guard who is probably the most athletic point guard in the league and who pushes the ball more than anyone else. So you draft a big clunky 7-footer who can never ever keep up with your point guard. Like, it made zero sense.
Yep, absolutely. Speaking of tall people, Florida has a 7'9" freshman this year. 7'9".
Yeah. Have you watched his video?
Insane. Yeah. Like,
it's
he
not
doesn't
the greatest.
Agreed, but he doesn't even have to jump to put his hand in the rim. I mean,
yes, but he does have to catch the ball. And when Felix Okpara is in his back throwing forearms into his kidneys, I don't think he's going to fare too well. Like, he's like this big around.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to take a couple years for him to get, beefed up enough. But once he is, that is not going to be fun to play.
He's going to have to eat another human being to get beefed up enough. Like, that dude is like 7'9", 87 pounds.
Tennessee Junior said he agrees with you. It's tough to watch the NBA nowadays. HT14 said, I'm a Rockets fan. We got Reed Shepherd. Let's see. Jerry said, can't stand that statue of Zach Edey. Let's see. Zach said DK will be in the NBA. The 18-year-olds will be in the G League.
Yep.
Tennessee Junior said he might watch 1 or 2 games just to watch Dalton, but it'll be rare. That's probably the way I'm going to do it too.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Elijah said the 7'9" guy, I guess, is going to get cooked on defense.
He could be referring to him or Zach Edey. I mean, how is Zach Edey going to play defense in the NBA? Like, that ain't going to happen.
Zach said just because you're tall doesn't mean you can play. Tennessee Junior said another Manute Bowl. Well, that's a good point.
Manute Bowl was actually skilled. This kid is not.
Villanova, Tennessee, yeah, they're trying to pull a Purdue. I mean, that's exactly what they're doing at Florida. Let's see. Ha! Elijah, you just gave me the perfect segue, dude. That was our next topic. Oh, he said he was talking about Edie. Herb said, what are you all hearing about the basketball Vols? So Jordan Moore's tweet the other day about Chaz Lanier was pretty interesting. You want to tell everybody about that?
Yeah, Rick Barnes has had a drill that he's done forever where you have 7 different spots on the floor and you have to hit 9 out of 10 shots at each spot before you can move to the next one. And in all the years he's been doing it, only one person has ever completed it, and that was Kevin Durant, which, oh, by the way, means Dalton Knecht has never completed
Never did it. Yeah.
Chaz Lanier got it on his second try.
Not bad.
And the fact that the staff let that leak out shows how impressed they were with it. Igor Milicic is currently playing for Team Poland. He's averaging a double-double against Olympic teams. I mean, these guys, everybody's raving about Darlin Stone Dubar, that he's just been a man among boys. And then you add to it Ziegler, you add to it Gainey, you add to
Jemai
it
Meshack.
Jemai Meshack, Felix Okpara. I mean, this team is going to be scary good.
Yeah, totally agree. Elijah said Chaz is going to be such a stud. Apparently so. Apparently so. Said, I can't wait. Only Tennessee said, hope Coach Caldwell gets those twins. Team will become a beast if we do. But I'm going to go back up here to what Elijah said, because this is a perfect transition. He said, have y'all talked about the college football 25 offense and defense rankings? So that's actually the next topic on our show. We got 2 more topics. We're going to talk about this, and we're going to talk about what Schlossnagle has done. Elijah said he thinks this basketball team is going to be better than last year. I mean, they probably will, actually.
I think they will be. They're going to be dangerous. Anybody could beat you on any night.
So Elijah makes a really good point here. For anybody who hasn't yet seen it, throughout this week, EA Sports has been releasing different metrics and different features of the new college football game that they've made that's releasing in July. And the first thing they released this week said it was like they built into the game. Essentially, they made it more difficult to play in certain stadiums based on how tough it is to play in that stadium, crowd noise, that kind of thing. So the first release was the rankings of most difficult stadiums to play in. Neyland Stadium was number 13 on the list. Texas A&M was number 1. Bryant-Denny Stadium in Alabama was number 2, which is a joke because if you hear people talk about it, Bryant-Denny Stadium is not a difficult place to play. What makes it difficult is the team that you're playing against, not the stadium. The stadium has gaps at the corners, which allows sound to escape. But to say that Neyland Stadium isn't even in the top 10 is just idiotic. It's literally got the record for the loudest stadium in the history of football, not just college football, all of football, in NFL, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's the loudest stadium in the history of the game. And they ranked it number 13. That was dumb. Then to top their stupidity, today they released offensive and defensive power rankings in the game. The defense was not in the top 25, which, you know what? Based on the last few years, whatever. That's fine. The offense, though, was also not in the top 25. That is idiotic. That is so dumb. I'm going to read to you Jordan. I loved what Jordan tweeted here. It was absolutely perfect. So Jordan Moore from Fan Run Radio said, Josh Heupel has been an offensive coordinator or head coach every year since 2016. His offense has ranked outside of the top 15 a total of 1 time during that span. So, just to repeat myself, 15 straight years. Excuse me. I just combined the years with the number there. Since 2016, so 8 straight seasons. Josh Heupel has been an offensive coordinator or a head coach, and his offense has been ranked in the top 15 in the country in production every single year except one of them. And EA Sports said it wasn't even in the top 25 on offensive power rankings. That is the dumbest thing since the Neyland Stadium being number 13. What do you think about all that, Rustin?
I don't care. I mean, I can't say it any more plainly. Get a ball and go outside. Stop playing video games. That's my response. You know, we're talking about software engineers. I don't think anybody's really going to expect that they have any actual logic behind anything they do. And somebody just made a comment about Colorado and how much they paid. I'm sure that's actually part of it. That's actually probably legit. Universities can probably pay EA Sports to boost them in these games, and EA Sports is happy to take it because they're a business at the end of the day. So what? Who cares?
Well, so I do think that it is important to potential recruits, because they're playing video games all the time. So, I mean, we were talking about recruiting earlier, so that's got to factor in here too.
Maybe. I don't know.
The only 10 UC said, I think they botched the rankings on purpose for headlines. Even bad publicity is publicity. I legit thought about that today as well. I wondered because I mean, what's happened now? All of Vol Nation is talking about this game. So if that's what they were trying to do, then they greatly succeeded at what they were trying to do.
If you want to boost your visibility, just say something negative about Tennessee, and they'll come out of the woodwork for you.
Zach said opinions are like buttholes. Everybody has them. Doesn't mean they're good. The only 10 UC said our good old grandpa. And Zach said, get off my lawn. Except he was telling people to go get on the lawn is what he was doing. Yeah.
Yes. Why is it horrible that my initial reaction is I don't want a high schooler that's playing video games. I want the high schooler that's in the gym not playing video games. That's who I want.
All right. Let's see. Zach asked a good question that I'm going to bring up now because we're going to end the show by talking about the Days of Our Lives episode. That is Texas A&M and Jim. And well, it's like a weird love triangle between Texas A&M, Texas, and Schlossnagel. What in the world, man? What do you think? If you just had to give a general opinion about what all's happened, what would you say about it right now?
Well, I think the majority of it's been proven. If anybody's been following the A&M media and A&M's players, and even some of the A&M administration, like they're not pulling any punches. It's pretty visible what's happened. I mean, Jim Schlossnagel, the timeline's a little fuzzy, but he absolutely verbally accepted the Texas job before the SEC tournament, which is crazy. This is still technically rumor, although some recruits have confirmed it. So it's really not rumor. It's kind of been proven. The A&M assistants were using burner phones to recruit kids to Texas and telling them not to say anything, which is how the rumors leaked out, because you tell high school kids, hey, don't tell anybody we're going to Texas in Texas. They're going to tell their parents are going to tell their friends, and before long it's going to be out there. Using burner phones to contact recruits. The craziest one that's come up is, and this was reported by an A&M player, The media brought it up, and an A&M player confirmed it was true. But apparently, Schlossnagle and his staff created a fake recruiting weekend with fake people, so the A&M administration would think they had a recruiting weekend and wouldn't get suspicious about what they were doing, and literally just invented a fake recruiting weekend with people that weren't real. I mean, just mind blowing the links they were going to try to hide this thing. But probably the craziest one of all is, and the number's now up to 9, but there were at least, and this has been confirmed by A&M players also, there were at least 5 players. Most of them were people you all have already named in the chat, who Schloss and his staff approached before the national championship series to tell them that they were going to Texas and they wanted them to go with them. So there were starters on the field during the national championship series playing next to guys who already knew they and the coaching staff were leaving and had teammates standing right next to them who had no idea. If Schloss doesn't go down as the shadiest coach in the history of college sports, I would hate to see the person that wins, because this is beyond insane.
Some of the comments that have come through, Elijah said, if I'm a recruit, I see what happened with Schloss, and I never even bat an eye to him or his program.
So that already happened. Texas had signed the number 1 player in North Carolina, and he decommitted and said publicly he will never play for Jim Schlossnagle. So that's actually already happening.
Herb said he's done at Texas. Negative recruiting will end him. I mean, there's definitely going to be some of that going on. Like, I mean, my goodness, if you're a coach at another Power 5 school and you have a guy that is debating between you and Texas, I mean, all you got to say is, well, how do you know that he's telling you the truth?
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's all you have to say.
I mean, I think we can effectively know that from this point forward, the Texas baseball program will be a bunch of mercenaries. I mean, he's gonna have a huge NIL bucket, and so anybody with any kind of discernment or moral compass at all is not going to go to Texas. But the reality is, there's a lot of players in the transfer portal who couldn't care less about a moral compass, and if you're willing to pay them big money, heck yeah, hook them. So he's going to have a whole roster of pretty despicable individuals for quite a long time moving forward.
The only Tennessee said they took the spotlight off of our game and championship. You're right, they did. Texas must pay with a good old Vol welcome to the SEC whooping. Absolutely. You're exactly right. They have completely distracted the national attention away from the national champions.
Yeah.
You're right. Let's see. Zach said, I think he did the same thing at TCU when he left there.
He did.
Sean made a good point. Sean said the whole thing just feels gross. I don't think I would want my child anywhere near that. That's a really fair point. I agree. Zach said Texas baseball isn't that good, and I guess they're trying to get good. And
it's not that good, but it is that rich. And when you got a lot of money, you can get good real fast.
That's like, what's his face? Well, dadgummit, I can't think of his name. Football coach
at
Texas. I'm totally blanking.
Sark.
I was going to say Stark, and I'm like, no, that's a Tennessee catcher. So Steve Sarkisian, they had a recruiting weekend like last month, and they had Lamborghinis and stuff sitting out waiting on the guys to sit in. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Let's see. The only Tennessee said NCAA won't do anything. Most recruits won't care, but thinking that LSU, Tennessee, and Florida are just going to lay down and let them win anything is delusional. Zach said they're talking about him, equating him with Tuberville and Saban. Tuberville and Saban both had famous pressers where they were like, I am not going to leave to go to that place. And then they left to go to that place. So that very similar situation. They didn't maybe do quite as much of the cover-up as he did.
So I have not confirmed this to be true, but one of the rumors that's out there, and it came from a pretty connected person, so I feel like it probably is true. The guy who asked the question at the press conference supposedly is connected to one of the recruits that they were calling with the burner phones. And he didn't ask the question just because he wanted to propagate a rumor. He asked the question because he already knew the answer. And so when Schloss went off on him and ripped him and called him selfish and all those things, he was sitting there just going, okay, let's wait till the article comes out tomorrow. Unreal.
Let's see. Dester said all this A&M stuff makes you so proud to have Danny White. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. And poor Texas A&M, and like I said, they're going to go from second best team in the country to maybe the worst team in the conference because they're going to be struggling to fill these spots.
Well, for a lot of reasons, some of what we just talked about with the parade, because they've got their 9 best players are currently in the portal. Odds are they're all going to Texas. They don't have a coach currently or any staff. So literally no one is recruiting right now. Their players who all just went to the Wood Bat Leagues, they're not actively recruiting to A&M because they don't even know if they're going to be there. So, and there's nobody who can tell those guys in the Wood Bat Leagues what their NIL package would be at A&M. So they're falling behind on the high school recruiting trail. They're falling behind in the transfer portal. Like, they're going to struggle to field a team next year.
So Mr. Jones's pun for Jim Schlossnagle is what a schluzer. Nice. HD14 said, we're the real UT 100%. There would not be another UT if this state hadn't saved them. Tennessee Junior said, got to roll, y'all. Stupid early AM for work. Much love. Go Big Orange. Hey, we appreciate you, buddy. Thank you so much for being with us. So our last topic, or was that? No, that was the last topic. Let's see. Somebody asked a question I was going to go back to. Mr. Osborne said, Schlossnagle and the Bama coach that bet on his own team are examples of poor character, zero leadership. Absolutely. 100%. Yeah. Especially the guy who bet on his own team. Absolutely.
I will say this, at least the Alabama coach was by himself. Schloss has been doing this with his entire staff. They were all in on it. I mean,
just shady, man. So shady. Mr. Osborne is exactly right. He's exactly right. It's not, it's hard to say, I want my child to go play for that guy. It's tough, man. It's tough. Well, we appreciate everybody joining us. We got 264 folks with us right now, 225 on X, 38 on YouTube. We appreciate you all so much. We hope all of you join us again. Herb said, any names for the A&M coaches yet? I don't know.
They put it's always that time of year. As soon as you have a coaching search, like the same 6 names pop up for everything. So they put out a preliminary list, but no one can possibly know what they're looking at yet.
Elijah said, have y'all talked about the guy that said he'd be embarrassed if he was Tony's boss because of how he acted? Yeah, that was Greg McElroy. We talked about him a little bit earlier. Zach said, as Josh Mancuso would say, we volunteer to kick your butt. Yep. So, man, what a week for Tennessee athletics. National champion, Dalton Knecht, first round draft pick. This is a big week. It's been fantastic. So we hope all of you join us Sunday night because we'll have Reed Carringer joining us Sunday night. So we're really excited about that. Reed will be joining us, talk about the baseball team. Dalton Knecht going to his favorite basketball team, the Lakers. So it'll be fun. Herb said, when is the next live? Great question. 9:00 Sunday night, which I believe is June 30th. I think that's the 30th. So June 30th, 9:00 p.m. on all 3 platforms, Facebook, YouTube, and X. Only 10 UC said, see you guys, enjoyed it. Hey, we appreciate it. It was good to see you. The Only 10 UC, good to see you. Mr. Jones said, is it too late to deny Texas entrance into the SEC? Probably so. I think it happens on Monday, actually.
I
July
tell you
1st.
what, Greg Sankey's got to be questioning a lot right now. Like, he's watching his conference making national news for all the wrong reasons.
Yep, absolutely. Zach said, good night, bros. Let's go get another 90 in the fall. Hey, I'm all for it, buddy. Let's do it. Absolutely. Elijah said, night, bros. Good night, man. It was good to see you. Rusty said, I would have been less annoyed by the Memphis draft pick if they gotten Klingon instead of Edie. 100% agree.
It also would have been a better pick.
Yeah, that's fair too. Absolutely. The Only 10 UC said 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central. That's exactly right. Herb said, national champion, baby. Go Big Orange. Absolutely. Doesn't it feel good to say that? Man, it feels good to say that. Hey, one fun thing we're going to do Sunday night. So when Reed joins us Sunday night, Reed had a great question. So we're going to do a whole segment on it. We're each going to rank our top, who we think are the top 5 baseball players in Tennessee baseball history. So that'll be a lot of fun. Yeah, Rustin may have just found out about that for the first time. We're going to do that Sunday night, just so you know. So it's not an easy question in my opinion, and it's not because, well, I'm not going to spoil what I've been thinking.
That's not an easy question at all.
Yeah, but well, there's a lot of factors involved. It's like, is it just time at Tennessee? Has the transfer portal altered that? I mean, like, there's a lot of factors. Sean said, "Go Big Orange!" Absolutely. Elijah said, "Can't wait for my Edie is only a college player." Takes to be so true. Elijah said, "Should Simo get his jersey retired eventually?" Ooh, that's a fun question for Sunday night.
Absolutely.
He thinks it should.
You don't win the Triple Crown in the SEC and not get your jersey retired. He absolutely will.
I'm going to add that to the list for Sunday night to talk about with Reed. I'm typing it down so I don't forget. It just auto-corrected Simo to camp. Should Simo get his jersey retired?
You win a national championship, make first team All-American, and win the Triple Crown in the SEC, your name goes on a wall.
Oh, and one other thing I forgot, Tennessee finished 3rd overall in the Directors' Cup, which means third best success rate of any athletic department in the country across all sports. That's incredible. I mean, that's amazing. 3 years in a row as number 1 in the SEC. It's awesome.
And the 2 teams that finished ahead of them have significantly more varsity sports.
Eric said, "What's up, all bros? Awesome. Still excited. Our Tennessee baseball's won the national championship." Absolutely, man. We are in everything, school. Absolutely. Feels so good to be national champs. Mr. Osborne said the Vols got to be America's team, especially with Tony Vitello. People love him. They just love him. Let's see. Herb said and Christian Moore hit a cycle at the World Series. Only the second person ever to do it. That's a good point. Let's see. Elijah said 3rd best athletics program with like 10 less sports than everyone else. Wes said, is Greg, Wes must have just joined us. Hey, Wes, good to have you, buddy. He said, is Greg a hater or what? Great question. It's good to have you, Wes. We talked about it a little bit, and he definitely apologized. He's a Bama guy, so I get it. Let's see. Oh, Elijah said that you said that while he was typing it out, his last comment there. Mr. Jones just wanted to throw in a Joe Milton comment in there. Hey, we appreciate it. Good times there. Good memories. Wes, we're glad you joined, man. We're glad you joined with us.
Because we're signing off.
Yeah, I hate it, man. I'm sorry, man. We were just about to sign off, but we did talk about it, I promise. So you can go back and find it. If I find it, I'll try to clip it out and post it as an individual video. But we really do appreciate all y'all joining us. I know I say this every time, but man, this is so much fun. We love talking with all y'all. 265 people right now, 227 on X, 36 on YouTube, and 2 on Facebook. So we appreciate all y'all so much for joining us. We hope you join us Sunday night with Reed Carringer. That'll be at 9 o'clock Eastern. We're excited to have Reed join us. Got a lot of really good topics, especially baseball-centered stuff. So we hope you join us then. Elijah said, see you Sunday, bros. Hey, we appreciate it, man. Looking forward to seeing you then. Herb said, appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much, Herb. Appreciate you, man. We hope all of you have a great, great evening. West said, go Big Orange. Absolutely. Go Big Orange. 100%. I hope all of you have a great evening. And we will see all of you very soon, Sunday night. Go Vols, national champions, baby. I'm actually meant to play, and I forgot to pull it up. I meant to play John Wilkerson's call when we won the championship, because it was just awesome. We have reached the summit and planted the flag on Rocky Top.
Open
And
with
we can
it
all
Sunday.
say we should. And now we can all say the national champions are clad in big orange. Sunday at 9:00 Eastern. So we'll be live Sunday at 9:00 Eastern. Good question. So look forward to seeing everybody then. Hope everybody has a great evening. And go Vols, baby. Go Vols.